Firstly, this video and series isn't intended to say cooperatives, that is, workers directly owning their workplace, are worse than private ownership. Most of the time, cooperatives are superior. I do mean just most, though, because there are industries where the capacity to align with social good is worse with a cooperative than even a private company. But that'll be for another video. As always, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and particularly in this case, bear with me as I make a point that goes directly against common perception. The purpose of this video and series will be to explain why cooperatives, or really any system of atomized, decentralized, limited-scale ownership, market or non-market, should ideally have no role to play in the agenda of the political left. Moving forward, I'll simply group this all together as cooperatives. The proper form of social ownership is united, common ownership across all industries. There are different means of accomplishing this. This channel's Meidner Plan series covers one of them, but cooperatives as an overarching plan for social ownership are not the way to go. I am aware of the left's current lionization of cooperatives and how it is partially the result of a desire to move away from the unfortunate parts, to say the least, of the legacy of those that implemented central planning and state ownership in the 20th century. And it is also something that can be done without even winning state power. This is understandable, but it does not mean that expanding cooperative ownership should be the goal of the political left. As the title of this video says, the focus here will be inequality. Namely, how cooperatives end up entrenching inequality between workers. My favorite bait for opening an explanation of this is pointing out how Amazon's market cap, the value of all of their stocks, is per employed worker over 7 times that of Walmart. I call this bait because it's a statement intended to fish out and allow the gutting of bad arguments, making it easier to make my larger point about cooperatives and inequality. If one were to simply hand over the control of workplaces as they currently exist to their workers, some workers would have more revenue to draw from to share with themselves than others unfairly. As I doubt Amazon's workers work 7 times as hard or are 7 times more skillful than Walmart. One of the first responses one might have to this Amazon versus Walmart point is that 7 times valuation is incorrect because the stock market is a casino or something along those lines. Frankly, I think that the political left's assumptions about how the stock market and finance in general work is dysfunctional and dangerous, to say the least, but that's mostly a story for another time, though I will be touching on it partially here. The important thing is introducing the reality that there is an immense inequality not only within companies from top to bottom, but horizontally, so to speak, between workers within different companies, that cooperatives would not only fail to address, but actually entrench. Pointing to Amazon or Walmart as unique cases that need to be nationalized or broken up isn't going to be relevant to my point here either. What I'm discussing will apply to smaller firms too. For the sake of simplicity, while there are others, I will be sticking to one source of inequality in the revenue and value of firms: capital assets. As it turns out, not all workplaces and firms have equal access to land, buildings, technology, equipment, and so on. As such, some workers' labor tends to end up being more productive than other workers' labor simply because they have more to work with, rather than it having anything to do with their own effort and skill. Now, one counter-argument against this is that actually this inequality is fine because the capital assets in said company are the fruits of the labor of workers in that company. Anyone who finds himself thinking this is demonstrating exactly why I say the left's usual approach to finance is dysfunctional and dangerous. Pretty much, the paramount feature of finance is the ability to take the surplus from one company and put it into another company. This is called investment, meaning that much of the capital assets of any given company taking investments were provided by extraction from other workers. The fact of the matter is, capitalism has led to a large degree of inequality in capital investments between firms for the sake of increasing wealth for their owners. While some of this uneven investment makes sense for society as a whole, even in that case, turning workplaces into cooperatives would only entrench the inequality and create the circumstances for it to be self-perpetuating, for reasons that I'll explain in later videos. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment.